Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. And this is the next installment of Thursday Fry Up, which so many of you are telling me that you're really enjoying. This is going to be slightly different, this one, because this is a pre-recorded fry up. By the time you see this, I will be abroad. I've been going to travel for my birthday. It's my birthday tomorrow, and yeah, I've decided to kind of travel. I'll let you know where I am when I do the recording for HoGaLe this Saturday, but it is actually somewhere that is technically America, but not America, but in the Caribbean. That should help you figure it out. And of course, before I forget, please don't forget to like and subscribe, share and press the bell notification, or even join as well in terms of like membership and stuff like that if you'd like to support the channel. And of course, I mean, if one has means which are, shall we say, a little bit reduced or stretched, then you can just watch an ad. Yeah. Remember, I don't put too many on there, so maybe one or two. Skip the rest. Whatever. I mean, I don't put too many ads on there, but sometimes if I get ad spammed, you know what I mean, and we have discussed that. Anyway, so because I'm going to be flying and all that kind of stuff, obviously this isn't going to be a live show because I'm going to be in transit and all of this stuff, and there's not going to be the time. I mean, the time now is now 12:45 a.m. For me, because I sort of like doing this kind of before I kind of go to bed. I'm packed, got everything kind of ready, and I never sleep that well before flights anyway. So thankfully my flight is around about almost 5 minutes to midday, which isn't too bad. So flying out of Heathrow International Airport. Anyway, so today what I'm going to do is, because of course I'm not going to be posting for questions and stuff to answer live, because obviously I'm not going to be live. However, what I am going to do is, because as usual, there are questions left over from HoGaLe, so I'm going to pose those. Yeah, I'm going to pose those. And obviously, gosh, the horrors of what are unfolding, of course, in Israel and stuff like that. I've been busy all day with clients and stuff like that. So as of today, or really the 10th of October, the whole day, I've barely seen anything. I've only seen some headlines from like the newspapers when I went to the shops and got some exercise and stuff in between clients, and it was just horrific. Horrific imagery. What I understand is that Israel is upon the cusp of doing a land occupation of Gaza, from what I understand, sort of tanks and everything. I don't know, of course, what's going to happen between now and then, and between the next show, because literally, like I said, it's going to be pre-recorded, and it's sort of like a break and a holiday in a way, which I've kind of booked ages ago. Not that I'm used to holidays. I'm constantly working, got constantly working, but that's what YouTube is about. So between now and HoGaLe, even more could have happened. So take that with a pinch of salt in regard to this show. However, as you know, I always like to give something a little bit uplifting, something potentially funny. So here we are, back with the book, The Funniest Quotations to Brighten Every Day. And I found three that made me titter, and they're all about food. Yeah, so it's the food section here. So I've got the food section. So allow this to give you a little bit of upliftment. Also, will it be this one? No, it is the video that is coming out this evening, which I recorded on Monday. Yeah, because I had to kind of get some stuff in advance. That one has got at the end reel. So after that video is completed playing, which is a Tuesday video talking about the eclipses, Duck L'Orange, Biden's chart as well, looking at Jupiter, Pluto. It's a longer video. If you've not had a chance to view that, please consider it, because I cover a lot of ground on that one, really getting into the nuts and bolts and the gussets of what's going on energetically. But and of course on the HoGaLe that we did last week, I also put on the end of that a video to Jessie J singing My Heart Will Go On. If you've not had a chance to see that, she's a criminally underrated singer in the UK. She's literally one of the best singers in the world. When you hear her sing her version, obviously Celine's one is fabulous and iconic, and you know she won the Oscar for it. But you got to hear this. It honestly is very moving. I love it, and if ever I'm feeling that the world is weighing too heavily upon my shoulders, then that is the song that I will listen to, and it's just inspiring. She's got the voice of the ocean, if I ever could give her that title. Anyway, so funny quotes 3. Okay, so one person said this: I always cook with wine. Sometimes I even add it to the food. And that's from W.C. Fields. And the next person said this. This is really interesting. If this is coffee, please bring me some tea. But if this is tea, please bring me some coffee. And that's from Abraham Lincoln. And the final one, which really made me laugh, and it said is this: food is like sex. When you abstain, even the worst stuff begins to look good. Well, you know, oh, and I forgot to say who that is. That is Beth McCollister. Beth McCollister. Wow. You know, when you abstain, even the bad stuff begins to look good. So let's start. So here we are. HoGaLe questions from last week, and this time I've circled in black pen the ones that we didn't have time to read out, but are still pertinent. Still some Trumpy ones in there, but of course a bit more eclectic as well. So question number 1 here that I'm going to dive into. Now this is pertinent as well to the situation in Israel. So this is coming from Carolyn Hurt, and she's just simply asked also, who is funding Hamas? Yeah, very, very important question, very pertinent. When I'm traveling, I'm going to be taking that kind of golden deck that I've got, and the bard, of course, is coming along. So when I do the HoGaLe, I will be in my location, hopefully all good, safe and well. And I'll reveal where I am once I get there. But Hamas, all right. Who is funding Hamas? Now, obviously more leads have emerged, but the long and short of it is basically this, from what I can understand, but please let me know in the comments. And those who, of course, who maybe have a Jewish background or Middle Eastern background or Palestinian background, please feel free to update me or correct me or give information and stuff like that, because I do not pretend for 1 minute to be an expert on the Middle East. Although I have paid attention to it closely, it is fiendishly complex. And really and truly, I really trust the opinions of people's lived experience there from either side, the Jewish experience and the Palestinian experience as well. They're the ones that really do know. There are obviously many people that know as well. And Lady G was saying, like, particularly with friends of hers and stuff like that, there are people that really know the situation. But for me, I'm just like, it's all awful. However, what fell out, look at that hard graft here, probably talking really about the situation on all sides, really. But in terms of what is said of Hamas, is that they are funded, it's said to be funded by Iran. And Iran, of course, in turn are funded by, you know who, yeah? Russia and China. Those three, they're allies. I've come to ponder timing is everything. It shows in the astrology, of course. You know, Pluto was square Mars and all of this stuff. And just, you know, you've heard me say before, October, November was always going to be epic. In fact, pretty much for the rest of the year, to be honest, there's going to be some big dramas going on. But that's the long and short of it. And of course, that also brings in, you know, things like Hezbollah and stuff like that and what have you. So my immediate instinct is Iran, with probably contributing factors there from Russia and potentially China as well. But again, for entertainment purposes only. And I'm not an expert. But let's see what the cards have to say. Bring this down here. Gosh, what times? What times? And they're saying that the GOP are already trying to twist this to their advantage. And, you know, obviously Duck LaRange is going to do his best to, you know, do whatever. And you remember I said it would take a miracle for him to win or a great act of evil. So I hope this doesn't swing in his favor with all of their rhetoric and all of, oh my God, it just doesn't even bear thinking about, does it, folks? All right. Who's funding Hezbollah? Now, of course, if we get the Empress show up, we all know that is Russia. Or if we get the Seven of Swords show up, we know that's Russia as well. Those are clear ones. Don't know what would represent Iran. If we see the World card as well, of course, that would mean international funding. Or maybe even the world getting involved. Hopefully not world war. Bloody hell, we wouldn't want that, would we? Let's have a look, see. Let's see who shows up. Oh. Wait a minute, I think my cards are upside down. Yeah, they're upside down. So let's just turn that all around. Well, at least you can see from your side here. So let's just turn that the right way. So it shouldn't be that many reversals, of course. Right. Who's funding? This is really interesting. All right, here, Page of Swords. So look, we look, sword raised, etc. Literally, we can see sword raised, poised, ready to fight. Pages are also cards that deal with youth as well. So this could literally be like the youth of Palestine, because they have a very young population. So we know in this particular instance, they, you know, invaded and attacked first. So I think that is talking about the energies there. However, when we look in the obstacle position, we have got the Two of Swords, which of course is about making choices. But it's turned up in the obstacle position. So it's almost like now that the attack has taken place, they're not sure what to do. Also, as well, if we're looking at this from a funding aspect, I don't think it was necessarily huge sums of money. Yeah. However, this could also speak of those that are already invested in the outcome in terms of maybe potentially attacking Israel and stuff like that. So I think this is the usual characters, which would be in terms of this, of course, would be Hamas or, you know, the youth wanting to fight, etc. But in terms of funding and stuff like that, this could be talking as well of course, like I said, because the swords also deal with the mind. So this can be the intellectual support, etc., from places, certainly Iran. And if that being the case, then of course we can be looking at Russia and China. But it's almost like logistics. I think they got logistical help. They probably, if they did get money, it probably wasn't that much, and it was probably more likely from the Iranians. However, now the attack has happened, they're not sure what to do. Yeah, because obviously the response from Israel has been catastrophic so far. I just saw some of the imagery, and it's just everything bombed to you know what. It just looks like an ashtray. Look in the middle though. Look, this does speak about money, it does speak about funding as well. So there is certainly an element here. And if we look here, what's the King of Pentacles all about? This is, in the positive sense, this is about the person who has accumulated their funds, legacies, etc. The shadow of this can also deal with obstinance, stubbornness, corruption, stuff like that. So there is certainly an element here where maybe dark money or maybe fundings from all sorts. But this, you know, I mean, look, obviously you could look at that. You could say, oh, maybe that's a Putin, you know, maybe that's one of, I mean, certainly Putin's got the cash, that's for sure. But we're looking at authority figures here. This does suggest patriarchs of some kind. But this is a kind of a general wealth thing. So I would say this, the attack or the funding of Hezbollah is probably coming from multiple sources. However, look what's happened. Like, this literally is it, isn't it? It's the tower moment. It's just an absolute disaster for all involved. Because, of course, as we all know, you know, the Palestinians have been suffering for decades. However, this was a very bold and audacious attack. Many hostages have been taken, and think whole families have been killed. And of course, they're going to be using people as human shields and all of that kind of stuff. They're trying to stop the attacks happening, and they say if you attack them, we're gonna kill civilians and stuff like that. However, really, this is a calamity. This is a catastrophe for all. Of course, this is the shock and surprise, because Netanyahu was obviously caught on the hop. And I think the time for kind of reflecting on that and blah, 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 how this happened has just gone out of the window, because the timing of things. Remember, Netanyahu was in a tremendous amount of trouble. There were protests and there were all of this kind of stuff going on where he really was in a difficult position. And there is a saying which is very true, and I'm trying to remember how it goes exactly, but it's kind of words to this effect, which is when your enemy is messing up, don't help them. Yeah, when your enemy is messing up or making a fool of themselves or in a pickle, don't help them. And you're probably thinking, why is he saying that? Why is HoGaLe saying that? What's happened is, because that Netanyahu was in all sorts of trouble, coming up with all these things, people protesting, you know, the country was divided, you know, people are just like, we really want rid of this guy. But with this audacious attack that's taken everyone surprised, guess what's happened? It's united everyone. Yeah. So what I would say is this has backfired. This is the shock for Netanyahu, who was obviously trying just to preserve his power and this, that, and the other. And people say he moved resources from certain places, the Gaza Strip, etc. Allegedly, he was actually warned even by the Saudis, actually, and other intelligence, telling him, listen, you might want to watch out. But he didn't. So it became a tower moment for him. But of course, quite literally as well, this is the tower moment as well for what are they called? Is it Hamas? I wanted to call them Hezbollah, but that's the on the Persian side. So this is a disaster as well for Hamas, because they are likely now to be eviscerated. Israel is going to be ruthless, yeah, utterly ruthless, because they have to respond. He's now been given essentially a mandate, and he's going to go in there, and they said we're just going to get rid of Hamas. So as far as I'm aware, the tanks are poised for action. And look, they're going to be getting to work. So when I look at this from the perspective of Israel, they are going to be working hard. They're literally going to rinse everything out. All of the secret tunnels, this, that, and the other, it's either going to be bombed to oblivion, or everyone's going to be rooted out of this, that, and the other. They want to do a thorough job this time. And who knows when that potentially will end. But this is going to be a very thorough job, which is going to be a real fire and brimstone moment as well. Also as well, of course, Israel has the money and the finances and the funding. When we read it backwards, you know, the moment of indecision has now passed. And then, you know, obviously on with what needs to be done. And for Hamas, of course, you know, very, very difficult. But one of the things that I'm thinking about as well, because of course there is this international flavor here, this unsettlement, I cannot help but think, particularly if Russia is helping to fund a bit of this as well, they may be trying to help Duc l'Orange indirectly. That's one of the ways that I'm seeing it, indirectly. By causing this thing, it gives, again, it gives a chance for a platform, for a stance, to tell more disinformation, etc., or attack the Dems, or this, that, and the other, or have some kind of stance or position and stuff. And apparently he's getting quite up there with his rhetoric. I've not heard what he's had to say, but that's what people have told me. So that's my read on that. It's very complex, very intense. But really, in many ways, the Hamas, yeah, I think they're going to get eviscerated. I think they're going to get absolutely eviscerated. And I just wish there wasn't all this loss of life. And what's happened as well on the Israeli side as well, so many of them have been butchered, murdered, killed. And then now we've got hundreds dead on the Palestinian side. And it's just all so futile. There has to be some kind of deal after this. Anyway, so there's that. Let's go to the next question. It's weird actually doing this show not live. Right, so here, this is coming from Jul, so J-U-L-G, so that might be someone who's Julie something, yeah? I wonder if that is the Julie that I know. Anyway, never mind. So what they've asked is, when will the immigration problems stop being out of control in the USA? Oh, what a question. Yeah, what a question. That is like a multi-million-dollar question, really, isn't it? Now, what you will see in the video, which would have launched, actually would have launched an hour ago. No, actually a couple of hours ago, because I had it go out 11 p.m. UK time, which was on the 10th of October, which is now yesterday. In there, I was just reading Biden's chart, and I just got this hit that there were issues to do with the border. Something may happen with the border. I hope it's nothing bonkers. There is, I saw somewhere that apparently there is a rumor that, I think it's something Linda G was talking about actually, where there might be some invasion across the US border going into Texas or something like that. We'll have to see. However, that also jogs my memory as well, because remember the eclipses. The eclipse on the 14th of October, remember, goes through where? Mexico, across through Texas. Do you remember? And then in April, so that's the solar eclipse of October 14th, 2023, which of course is only 3 days away from now. Yeah, and we see already, remember the eclipses, the stuff happens near or close to that time. And then the next one, in April 2024, goes through Texas again. Do you remember, going the other way across the country? So think about it. And I kind of forgot that I'd done that discussion with an earlier eclipse video. But when I looked at Biden's chart and looked at things there, I was like, this could be something to do with the border. So, you know, we'll have to see. So let's just see what the cards have to say. Now, the irony is that, look, the irony is this: one day I believe that Mexico may actually build a border to kind of stop other people coming in. I know you're probably thinking, what is he saying? Economically, the way things are changing, let me tell you, in the next well, it's already happening, but in the next 2 to 5 years, there's going to be huge shifts in the economic fortunes of countries. Let's just put it that way. Mexico as a place is actually doing pretty well. There are a lot of expats there, a lot of people moving there, a lot of people contributing to the economy, doing lots of stuff. And I was watching someone speak, and they said, believe it or not, on the border now, it's not, you know, everyone thinks, oh, it's South Americans trying to get through, Mexicans trying to get through. They said, no, actually, they're quite thin on the ground. It's actually more international. You've got people from China. You've got people from Afghanistan. You've got people from Syria. all sorts type of a melange and a mix, and terrible things happening to these desperate people and what have you. But so it really is quite a chaotic situation. I think everyone can kind of agree on that without that being too partisan. You know, it does need a bit of sorting out. Anyway, the border. Let's see what the cards have to say. And in regards to the letters on this T-shirt, I don't know what they mean. I got the T-shirt from a conference. I think it was like a banking conference or something like that. So if you're wondering what the letters mean, I'm like, I don't know. Can't remember. All right. The border, the border, the border, the border, the border. Yeah, the more I tune in, yeah, I think it could be an issue, you know. I think it's going to be an issue. It already is an issue. Oh, looky here. Oh. All right. The situation is overwhelming. When the card is the right way up, yeah, when the card is the right way, remember it fell out of the deck and I put in the correct way up, remember, and it turned up reversed. When the card is the right way up, we can see this is a tremendous amount of work burdens, but the work is being done inefficiently. The guy could easily bundle up the sticks and put them on his shoulder and carry them more efficiently to the home. However, when it is reversed, this can feel like a situation where the work has become so overwhelming, it's almost like you want to give up. What this says to me is that it's almost like there's a situation at the border where they've just kind of given up. Let me know in the comments if this is correct. I'm just going, as you know, I'm just saying what I see and using my intuition. I feel like it's almost like they're completely overwhelmed at that border, and there is so much drama, kerfuffle, and this, that, and the other, everything kind of going on there, and it's almost like there's no border there at all. Yeah, if it was this way up, people will be working hard to try and maintain that border. Maybe not so efficiently, but they'll be working hard. Here it's like, overwhelmed, can't do it anymore. Yeah, that's how I interpret that. If we look here now, obviously we often talk about the Russia card. Now look, Russia can't be blamed for absolutely everything, although it is tempting because they have so many machinations. But look, this is about getting away with things, etc. This, of course, can talk about what things crossing the border, ne'er-do-wells potentially crossing the border. Here it is. We know that this is the card of like thievery, stealing, or trying to get away with something. So, of course, there's lots of machinations going on at the border and stuff like that, but it may not necessarily be the usual suspects. South America is always blamed, but from certain things I've seen recently, they're much thinner on the border than people think. There's more nationalities going on. Do you know what this is also about? Of course, it's about the gangs and the cartels. It is about basically the professional gangs that are basically bringing people to the border in the first place. There you are. That's what that is. In the middle of the reading, stinky fish. Yeah, not a positive message. We know it's just not great. It's just absolute bedlam down there. And of course, this is a situation that has now spread to other parts of America as well, famously now New York, where that is beginning to change the kind of the political climate of certain parts of New York, because of course the people have absolutely nowhere to go. What on earth is going to happen to these people in the winter? Because I've seen literally the footage. And of course, as you know, I've got clients all across the United States. So my New York clients tell me what is going on in New York. And they're like, they're just people everywhere in doorways. And of course, people need what? Shelter, food, facilities. Yeah, imagine all the peeing and the pooping that's kind of going on in certain corners and this, that, and the other. It takes resources. It takes money. And people are kind of getting a bit upset about the situation. Yeah, it's not a great kind of message. But here, why have the people come? Well, look, because they want what? A better life. Isn't this pertinent? Yeah, look, you can see the husband and the wife and the two kids are playing. Everyone's coming because they want a better life. They want to escape the horrors that they've been facing in their own country. But look at the outcome card. Poverty. Yeah, where are they? They had this dream, like basically what is these gangs or these, cartels or whatever that basically shipping the people over. They're giving them this kind of message, yeah, but it's not a truthful message. It's a bit of a dodgy message, yeah. It's a message that comes with a surprise. They're selling the happy family who, oh yes, will give us the money, blah blah blah. You're gonna have your new life, a new future in America, and then what happens? They end up on the streets of New York, or sleeping rough, or getting abused. All of this stuff, especially the stuff that's happening to the children, is just, I can't even go into it. It will just break your heart. So they're just being lied to. They're just being lied to, and that border, in many ways, is overwhelmed. It is overwhelmed. So in terms of what going to happen, is it going to be fixed anytime soon? Unlikely. Yeah, unlikely. That's how I'm seeing it, because it's not even South Americans, wanting to come, to America, which is the stereotypical thing. Is much more international now. So how do you kind of stop that when you've got all of these gangs, all these cartels or whatever organizing this stuff? It starts to become very difficult. All right, let's take a look. So that was question 2. Let's look at number 3. Here we are. We've got a Duck Larange question. So this is in regards to, now here we are. So Nicola McClafferty, you know who you are. So nice for you to submit a question. We didn't have time last week to do this question, but I thought this is relevant. So we got 2 Trumpy ones coming up. So this is the one of the 2. With an Aussie businessman being shown nuclear docks, did Trump give any to North Korea when he crossed the border alone? Oh, well, one thing I would say is this: who has Trump not given state secrets to? I mean, honestly, I think if you're a state around the world, that basically is an enemy to the United States, I think you'll be feeling pretty left out if you've not been given any documents. I mean, the fact that this man, with this traitorous behavior, with what he's done, which is absolutely abundantly clear, we all know what the truth is. The fact that this man is still walking free, the fact that he is still being supported by the GOP, I mean, it shows you that they are literally now, as much as they deny it, they are a total appendage. Duck Larange, I was saying this to a friend, has proved to be the best weapon that Russia or Iran or any enemy of the United States could ever have dreamed of. He's actually better than a bomb. Yeah, he's better than a bomb, because, as we've seen, Hezbollah has been bombing and blah blah blah, and what they've done, they've united. Yeah, they've united Israel in their pain and their suffering and the shock and awe and the surprise of it. It's united everyone. Yeah, there's no time to think. It's survival mode. However, Duck Larange is like this rot, this festering rot that's been able to happen from the inside out. And that influence has been there from the get-go. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously there's still people that will defend Trump and blah, blah, blah. And, that's their choice. That's their political choice. But as we see all of that stuff from the beginning, we know that those connections with Russia, they're all on the record. We know there were all the conversations that he had with Putin. I think he met Putin 5 times. And none of those things, there was no one else in the room. It was just the 2 of them. What were they talking about? We know that people were invited to Trump Tower, etc., so all that kind of stuff. Members of the GOP went to Russia, where Russia probably got their compromat and all of that stuff. That's why they were all squealing, all singing to the same tune. Why else would half of what is basically represents the USA government, why would they be so supportive of Russia. It's sometimes the simplest answers are the most obvious ones. Anyway, I digress. This is about North Korea. So the question again, with an Aussie businessman being shown nuclear docks, did Trump give any to North Korea when he crossed the border alone? I'm sure he had them in his handbag. I shouldn't be laughing, but I mean, it's just so obvious. Do you know what I mean? It's just so blatant now. It's just so blatant. And he still has support, which means, you know, they're all bought. Anyway, Trump, North Korea. Did he give any to North Korea? If he's Kim Jong-un and he didn't get any, he should be feeling very left out. Let's have a look, see. I read. Trump documents. Top secret North Korea. Top secret North Korea. Top secret. Ah, very interesting. All right. Basically, I think yes. Is that a yes? Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Here we see the King of Cups. And of course, this is normally a Biden card, but we're talking about Duck L'Orange and, of course, North Korea. Now, believe it or not, this card does have some associations with romance as well. If we remember, the Knight of Cups is a very romantic. But here, this can also speaks about emotions, but it talks about a creative man, an intuitive man, and stuff like that. And you're probably, Hogarth, shut up. Duck L'Orange is none of this. Well, he is creative. He is creative. However, remember the love letters. Remember, to Rocket Man, the love letters. That's how Duck L'Orange feels towards Rocket Man. There, yeah, lovey-dovey feelings. On the other aspect here, again, there's two kings here. This could be interpreted as Kim Jong-un, yeah, maybe receiving the affections, yeah, because, of course, you know, you call Rocket Man, but yeah, here ones are all about what? Fire, which can also be associated with what? Things that are explosive or propulsion, you know, stuff like that. So I think here we literally see the bromance. Here is Duck L'Orange giving his love letters here to Rocket Man. But what was it about? Maybe Duck L'Orange was keeping something close to his chest. Look, here we can see here, look, preserving things, looking after things and stuff like that. This is stuff that is near and dear. Stuff that one should potentially hold on to. Yeah, you can see it's the card of holding on. So, but this in the context of did he give something, that means he went along there with something that was maybe secret or classified, something that America would want to hold on to. And more, this is supported more by the next card, because look, we see the Hierophant, which is the card of what? Government. Duck L'Orange in his love bromance with Kim Jong-un took something precious that belonged to the USA government. Here, yeah, the Hierophant, the government. And of course, this can also represent the regime of North Korea. In an act of what? Look at the outcome card, which is the Three of Pentacles, which isn't just money. It's also what? Collaboration. So, yeah. I mean, think about it. If he's exchanged sort of like essentially effectively bromance love letters with Kim Jong-un, then he's almost certainly given him some documents, hasn't he? I mean, but the cards are saying it. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Two men, yeah. Something secret or something held on to, something precious from the US government, which is also useful as well for Kim Jong-un's government in the spirit of what? Collaboration. And sometimes the shadow of this card can also mean corruption. So yes, yes. I'll be surprised if he didn't. But those cards are just like, well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Pretty obvious. My God. This man. Dark Larange. All right. So then another Trump question, and then there's a question about world peace, and then I'll call it a day there because I really should get some sleep. It's now 1:23 in the morning. Oh my goodness. But you know, these things, they must be done. I want to make sure that you guys, you know, have that content that you need. All right, so this is coming in from TR. So it says, hi everyone, thanks for your insight. My question is, will Trump be witness to his properties, including Mar-a-Lago, being seized by the government during his lifetime, or will he always be surrounded by his prized possessions? Good question. Well, we'll see what Ketu has to say about it. As we know, Ketu's energy is getting stronger. Snip, snip. But he's still at the very back end of Jupiter Mercury. And do you remember I said his friends are going to still be trying to help him out as much as they can. However, their influence is going to wane. It's already waning already because obviously a lot of them are going to be locked up. But he can still squeeze some of the juice out of that Mercury to what? Grift, fund, rave, and all. Remember, the shadow of Mercury is what? The trickster. Remember, Trump has got Mercury in his 11th house of great gains in his own sign of Gemini. You know, is there any wonder that he's able to talk and grift? And like I said, his gift is grift. His gift is grift. Will he get to keep his properties? However, K2 on the 22nd of October 2023, so not too long from now, you know, less than 2 weeks from now, will officially start driving the car. And from that point on, Mercury's influence will diminish. So he's only got a window of maybe a couple of weeks to trying to turn things around, to use the last of that Mercury before it becomes Jupiter K2, which really, I remember the eclipses are falling on his Jupiter. Oh my God. It could be a horror show. All right. Will he get to keep his ill-gotten gains, raising the price when he wants, you know, money, dropping the price when he has to pay tax? All right. Will he get to keep the properties? We see the poverty card, like 5 of Pentacles, then we know he's going to be on the skids. However, if we see things like, I don't know, Ace of Pentacles, the Empress, he'll probably be able to keep some of it. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Ace of bloody Pentacles. Ah! What did I say? What's the reading all about? It's all about what? Is money. Yeah? Yeah. Ace of Pentacles. I mentioned that, didn't I? Look what's turned up. You know what? Ivanka. That 2 billion that she's got, and her and Jared have got down the back of the sofa. Ivanka, I'm seeing that international money. Do you know what? Oh my God. You know what's just hit me? Psychic. I don't normally talk about my psychic stuff, you know, I leave that, you know, to others, but I am. You know what has just hit me? The Ivanka, that 2 billion, all that kind of stuff, it's already squirreled away. It's already squirreled away. It's already there, but it's hidden. It's offshore. So what this says to me is, yes, they'll confiscate his money, his finances and stuff like that on the surface. This, of course, can also represent fool's gold. Remember, too, Trump has been very foolish. I mean, because he's made it so obvious. But what this says to me, there might be other sources of funding. Think about it. If you're going to sell those state secrets, you want to make sure that you are set for life. Yeah, in a way. So this is the sense. This is the sense here. Obviously, big money is involved. Fool's gold, but this could also be Jared and Ivanka's money. If we look here, the obstacle card here is temperance, and this is what you don't want this as an obstacle card. It's a nice card, but you don't want it as an obstacle. So it means the chemistry is not quite working. Here's Trump trying to what, balance things. So in the context here, he's actually been what, moving his money around. Yeah, literally moving it backwards and forwards, yeah, trying to do the alchemy here. So this would be stuff that's offshore, and of course his main funds and finances and stuff like that. But look, collaboration, the collaboration card turns up again. You saw me shuffling like you know what, and I always select with my eyes closed. So again, this can deal also as well with corruption. Funny, he's still being helped. Think of all of the backhanders that he's been getting for those secrets, which of course in turn what compromises, you know, America. Here we have got the sunshine card, which deals with what, illumination, revelations, etc., and stuff like that. This will probably be uncovered in regards to Trump's finances. However, let's not also forget as well the literal interpretation of this card, which is hot places, hot countries, collaborating with what? Hot countries. We know certainly Saudi Arabia is a very hot country. Maybe he might be going to a hot country. And the outcome card is the Hierophant, which of course is dealing with the government as well. And of course, tradition, rules, regulations. It's also quite a conservative card as well. So this could also mean collaborating with a hot conservative country. I am still gonna say it, I really do believe when Duck L'Orange is faced with the full prospect of being behind prison bars, and if he sees no other way out, I see him making a run for it, because provisions have been put in place, I think, for him to escape. Because in the middle, look, it's not only the money card, the collaboration card is in the middle. He has been paid a lot. Again, this could be a banker, but there's even more money that we may not know about. This may emerge, come to illumination later. And the government, obviously, this is the government case against Duck L'Orange. Let's just pull a clarifier or two on that Hierophant to give us more of an idea. If we see the Six of Swords, stuff like that means he's going to make a run for it, isn't it? He's going to try and escape. If we see the Seven of Swords, which of course is the sneaky card, we can see, obviously that would be the overseas stuff. If we see the World card, that could also be something as well. Let's see, but let's just see what Spirit has to say. All right. Remember, I select with my eyes closed. Let's clarify this. Let's see what these clarifiers are. Oh, well. Maybe it's not so hunky-dory after all. Look at this. Oh dear, dreadful. So as you saw, I interpreted, let's put it back up here. Yeah, I interpreted the monies, yeah, but it could also be fool's gold, trying to alchemize, balance everything out. This is obviously him grifting, trying to fundraise and all that stuff. With his collaborations with others, with foreign lands, corruption, and also as well his base. This coming to illumination, full clearness, but also as well I said hot countries. Of course, this can be Saudi Arabia. And then the outcome here is the government, which of course will literally be what? The investigation. So I pulled the clarifiers to see what would be the nature, the outcome of that. Here's the star card, but here in the case we're talking about Duck L'Orange, this is what? The narcissist, yeah? The shadow I interpret of this card, I refer to it as the narcissist, the person who always wants the spotlight. So we know that this is Duck L'Orange. The star card has come up for him many times. But look at this. 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords. Oh dear. So that says to me, by the time the government is through with him, that's not looking good, is it? I think this is K2. This is K2 coming in. I really do. That's why I said I'm calling it the K2 Chainsaw Massacre, really. I really think, because look, that is not, you don't want those two together. 10 of Swords and 3 of Swords, my goodness. Which means what? Total loss or betrayal, or, you know, he's always complaining about being stabbed in the back. Maybe what I think is when his Mercury sub period comes to an end, a lot of his friends are going to be stabbing him in the back because they're going to be facing jail time. And I think here this could be talking about Cheesebro and Sidney Powell, because let me tell you, facing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in jail is going to what? Loosen the tongue. It's going to be feeling very upset. But that betrayal by the friends will really start. It's already starting to happen, but it will start concretely manifesting around on October 22nd onwards. That's really when Ketu's getting stuck in, and that's how I'm seeing it. So far, he's been able to wheel and deal and do all of this stuff, but the government, yeah, this is what the government is dishing out for Duck L'Orange. So he is in serious trouble. He could lose everything. He could lose everything. All right. So here is a very pertinent question. So this is from Manuela Orchid. So hello, Hoagie and lovely ladies. Love to know if we will experience a world peace in some way in a few years and away from all the wars, lies, and drama. Thank you for your energies. Much love from Munich, Germany. All right, so let's see if we're going to be having world peace. Now, the big intense of the intense time is from now, 2024, and going into 2025, which is what I've said in the video that was published just before this one. Once Pluto reaches an orb of wider, let's just say once Pluto, because an orb of 3 degrees is very close, and basically the Pluto in USA's chart is almost 7 degrees, almost 7 degrees. That means Pluto needs to be coming at 10 degrees and loose change to reach a point where it can potentially start getting less. So once it's 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees away from its original crossover point, much of that shadow would have been integrated, or things would have moved down and calmed down a bit more, but it would still be a very transformational process for America. But we're right in the real, what I would call the kuni of it, you know, the real, we're right in there. We're right in there with more stuff to come, because of course the square between Pluto and Mars has just begun, plus with the Pluto return, with Uranus, Neptune, you know, the whole shebang. So there's a lot going on here. So world peace. So what we want obviously would be the world card. We would want the star card to have its positive interpretation, which is rejuvenation. We would want the Empress and maybe the 10 of Cups, happy families, all of that kind of stuff. Or even the 2 of Cups would also be another good one too. For concord, relationships, good stuff. Let's see. Let's see what Spirit has to say. All right, world peace. Peace. World peace. World peace. Oh my God. Oh, look who's turned up. Look who has turned up like a bad smell. All right. At the moment, what? Look, I think this is the 3rd time I've pulled this card today. So look, conflict, harsh words, rhetoric, you know, the politicians are not wanting to calm down. Everyone has got their sword raised, ready to kind of get stuck in. Yeah, they're like, yeah. Antagonism, people stirring things up. There are a lot of psychopaths ruling the world, unfortunately. We look here, this is a nice card, the 6 of Cups, but it's turned up in the obstacle position. So there's a sense of nostalgia, wanting to go back to the past where things were calm, where the world wasn't so crazy. Yeah. This is the nostalgia. This is also families. It's also children here as well. However, look, there is a victory card in the middle. So look, there will be some peace coming forward. However, look, the devil card, the corruption. The big problem is the corruption, and the biggest obstacle is, if we look here, look, the chariot card, but reversed. This is all about moving forward with intention, etc. It's reversed, it's not moving forward. So what is world peace is possible. However, the politics of the rhetoric, the arguments, this can also be known as the spy in the camp, the sharpness, the harshness of what people have to say is really affecting things, our well-being, our sense of our security for the future. However, progress will be made, yeah, because there always is progress on some level. Progress will be made in terms of world peace. There'll be some victories. However, the corruption is still going to be there, and they're going to be trying to hold things back. Let me just pull some clarifiers here on that reversed chariot card. Let's see. World peace, world peace. World peace. Ah. Oh, look at this. Bloody hell. I wish I had more better news. Look, douchebags trying to get away with stuff. The corruption, the theft, the stealing. Yeah. Humanity feeling embattled. Yeah. But also as well, if we look here, you know, look, kind of sadness and loss. However, there are still two cups there standing up. Basically, what we need to do is the main issue really in these are these cards. It's the corruption. It's the corruption and the theft. Yeah, the theft. That theft in many ways is happening as well on a big corporate level as well. And in this video, what I'm going to put at the end papers is there's this guy, the former Greek he used to be one of the finance ministers, who's just written this really fascinating book, which is called, I think it's called Cloud Capitalism or something like that, where he basically talks about how essentially the corporate world has captured many people, including people that produce goods and services and ordinary people, in a kind of a fiefdom, where everyone is basically effectively almost paying them a kind of a rent in a way. I'm not explaining it that well, but in the video that I'll put at the end papers, as it were, the end thing, I will put that video there and you can watch him, because this is really talking about something that I've been noticing. There's a lot of stuff with greed, corruption, theft from humanity preventing peace, because there are a lot of people that make money out of war, as we know. So I would say, because the next few years are choppy, world peace is not possible yet, but it's not an impossibility. But we need to come through this phase of all of the corruption, all of the horribleness that is going on, and all of the skullduggery, etc. But I will leave it there for now. So I hope you found that Thursday fry up interesting. I wish it could have ended on a more kind of like positive note, but you know, I read the cards, as you know. I read the cards, I shuffle them, I pick with my eyes closed so spirit can just come through, and that's what it's saying for now. So I think we will get there in the end, but I think we've got at least a couple of choppy years ahead. But don't forget, there was that victory card in there. Always have hope. And these are times for strength and for courage, particularly as well. Humanity is going to have to be brave. Yeah, we're going to have to be brave to get through these next few years, because there is so much going on in the world, not only kind of politically, but really and truly the real big source of the corruption, of course, is the big money. Yeah, they're buying everyone. They're buying everyone. But I will leave it there. So thank you so much as well. I wanted to say as well, thank you to all those that donated as well on the HoGaLe just gone, and who also made donations as well. So forgive me if when I'm scrolling through the chat, sometimes it goes so quickly. You know, there's so much, I can't see all of the things before the show closes. So I will leave it there. Don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and share, press the bell notification. And of course, if you'd like a consultation with me, then visit HogarthGlobalAstrology.com. All right, I will leave it there. Time for me to kind of sleep and then jump on a plane soon. And I will see you all soon. All right, bye-bye for now. Much love. Mwah.